Winter can last as long as 6 months here in Switzerland's remote Pedrito Valley. It's a sunny day and bitterly cold. Pristine beauty coupled with an ever-looming danger. These massive concrete barriers have been erected to protect the villages from avalanches. I want to know why the inhabitants chose to remain here under such a constant threat. Ignacio Leonardi is the official town clerk of the Pedrito Valley. He shows me the 16th century church tower that has withstood many an avalanche. Ignacio tells me that the tower's pentagonal shape is what keeps it standing. He adds that the concrete walls on the outskirts of the village are a welcome addition. He explains that the villages are protected, but most deaths and injuries occur in the countryside. So, with every heavy snowfall, the roads are closed and the villagers must make do among themselves. He tells me of the strange darkness that falls when a big avalanche rolls through. The snow brings boulders and trees with it, and the noise is frightening. You can hear them coming, he says. It's awful. And still he remains. Ignacio was born in the Pedrito Valley. He's transformed his grandfather's barn into a home. His grandfather used to tell him that whenever the village was in danger, he'd move his family up the hill to sleep in the stable. He felt it was much safer than remaining in their house. But economic realities also threaten this tiny valley. Many of its inhabitants have left over the years. Only 70 people live here year-round. When the roads are clear, the ski run does a brisk business. Marco and Agnese Leonardi work the lift. Their sons, Alia and Johnny, are two of only 5 children in the valley. His father built the lift in the 1970s. This is where Marco learned to ski. It's perfect for children, he says, because it's fairly easy and there's always an abundance of new snow. One of the children wants to know what I'm doing. She's making a film, Marco explains. I accompany Marco on a trip to gather firewood. He tells me that no new building permits are being allowed. The avalanche danger is just too great. But that has left the villages in a pristine state. In the autumn, Marco travels throughout Switzerland selling chestnuts and handiworks. The ski lift doesn't bring in enough to live on. But he and his wife have high hopes that tourism might soon provide a more lucrative livelihood. Marco believes the solution is to keep things small, like a well-kept secret. No massive infrastructure, little investment. That, he says, is where the future lies. There are no shops, and the post office closed 6 years ago. Romano Casatelli now drives down the valley to pick up the mail.
Wollen Sie mitkommen? Permess?
Adele Forni has lived through many a tough winter in the Pedrito Valley. She tells me the snow depth once measured 15 meters. She said she had to go outside through a window. We were dreadfully afraid, she continues. The avalanche took everything with it as it rolled down the mountainside. Adele Forni survived the deadly avalanche of 1951. There were many casualties, and everyone in the valley was evacuated. We took the cows and goats with us, she remembers. It was awful. We had to follow a narrow trail all the way. I'd love to remain here and listen to more of Adele Forney's stories. But I have an appointment with the local council leader, Diego Orelli.
Come va?
Bene, grazie.
Ecco.
He shows me the areas considered in highest avalanche danger, and he tells of the emotions of residents forced to leave the valley. Tenderness, anger, love. He tells me of his vow to remain here in honor of all those who had to go, to fight to keep the valley alive. Everyone has their own avalanche story. Diego Orelli's brother, Giovanni, wrote a book called The Long Winter about what happened in 1951. Streets, homes, trees and the mountainside are covered in snow. The ravens are harbingers of more snow to come. A window opens and two boys peer out. What do you want? I have snow in my bones.
Cosa vuoi? Ho la neve nelle ossa. È stato un fotografo che mi ha...
Diego Orelli believes the internet is the key to revitalizing the valley, but the connection is dreadfully slow. He recommends laying fiber optic cables for faster service. That might attract young people who could work with computers. Those who remain here are fiercely loyal to their valley. I visit one of the few businesses operating in the Pedrito Valley, the dairy. There I meet a recent arrival, Maria Dolores Mesquita from Portugal. She came to the valley with her partner 2 years ago. Now she helps out on the dairy. She says this cheese weighs 2 kilos and is ready to eat. These haven't aged long enough, but ones like this are good to go. Sometimes she misses the warm climate of her native Portugal. But she tells me she loves to make cheese. And she feels at home, where everyone knows and talks to one another. That's a wonderful part of living here. Dolores is getting used to the challenges posed by nature. When the roads are closed, milk deliveries are interrupted. She says the avalanches often take whole trees along that block the main road. There's no getting in or out. We're stuck here, she says. And that means her son, Ruben, can't get to school. There used to be a schoolhouse in the valley, but now the few children ride a bus to the nearby town, except when the road is closed. Then I play, study and surf the internet, he says. The locals buy their cheese from Dolores. That includes Ignacio Leonardi. Storm clouds are moving in. Time for me to leave. But I'm not looking forward to returning to the city just yet. I'll miss the peace and serenity of the Pedrito Valley.